great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of need. I mean,
welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. What up, big players and ballers out there? Says my man Robert. How's everybody doing? This is the Immigration Answers Show, episode number 801. We did our After Dark episode last night for episode 800. How's everybody doing? I'll be here for the next hour. It is Taco Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to have any tacos today, but maybe I will. April 1st. I've decided to change my practice area. I'm going to go do car accident law for the foreseeable future. So I'll see you guys later. April Fools. Today is April Fool's Day. Have you gotten tricked? I got tricked. My son Ibrahim tricked me into thinking that Aaron Rodgers had signed with the Vikings. And of course, I felt nothing but bad for Minnesota Vikings fans because nobody wants Aaron Rodgers. He's a toxic MAGAite and a cancer wherever he shows up. So I would be very disappointed for the Vikings if they signed Aaron Rodgers, and I'm glad that he's away from the Jets. All right. I say hello to all our friends. I see lots of friends, some of our favorite people in the comments. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody on TikTok. Like I said, I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States. Right now I'm in San Diego for the foreseeable future. I'll be heading out tomorrow for Washington, D.C. So actually I'll have been where 3 of our 4 offices are this week. So let's go ahead and get started and talk to Kelton. Hello, Kelton.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Not too bad. Yourself?
Great. What's up?
So I had a question involving our adjustment of status. I got married end of January, sent in all of our evidence, all of our stuff. My wife is here on humanitarian parole from Nicaragua. They sent out their notice of cancellation on Saturday, and it was asking for countervailing evidence to keep her work permit going. What would be countervailing evidence that would allow her to continue working? She hasn't gotten her provisional yet, and then she has her biometrics tomorrow.
She has no EAD, you're saying?
She has one that's current, but it expires based upon Donald Trump's cancellation of the program on the 25th of the month.
Mm-hmm. So I would send in evidence showing that she needs to keep working. I think this is all going to get tied up in the courts, and the 25th is going to come and go, but you might as well respond to it. I haven't seen that notice. I wouldn't mind seeing it if you wouldn't mind sending it to me.
Yeah, where would I send that to?
Just say, this is Kelton. I was the first one on the show on Tuesday, and email it to info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I can definitely do that. What would be countervailing evidence for her work permit? Would that just be all of her documentation that says that she's in the process of adjustment of status?
And why she needs to work, yes.
Gotcha, okay. So we would have to then create some sort of documentation then for that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would think a letter or an affidavit explaining why she wants to work and keep working and has a job.
Okay, gotcha. And then with the cancellation of her program, with that, the letter does say to basically self-deport. Because she's in the process of adjustment of status, she wouldn't be eligible for deportation or anything like that because of the adjustment of status, correct?
Well, I wouldn't characterize it that way.
Okay.
I would characterize it a little bit differently. I would say that because I have an adjustment of status application that's on file and that you guys have put on hold illegally, I'm going to walk around relatively confident that if I were to get put into deportation, that I should be all right.
Okay.
But I don't think you can say, as a matter of fact, like she's not subject to deportation because
Gotcha.
has she been here less than 2 years?
Yes.
So in theory, she's subject to expedited removal, but these are all the things that are being litigated against the Trump administration right now. So I think you just
Okay.
have to keep doing the next right thing and hope for the best.
Okay. The other question I had was, so she got two USCIS online accounts. One was issued for her parole, which was in her maiden name, and then one was issued for her adjustment of status. Does that matter at all?
No,
No? Okay.
it's not something that's actually tied to her as a person. It's just different ways to access applications that are on file.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, 'cause her letter only came through with one account.
Yeah, I wouldn't sweat it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so that answers all my questions then. I appreciate it.
Goodbye, Kelton. See you, buddy. Good luck.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll send over the letter shortly.
Thanks. Dominic is here. Hello, Dominic.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Great. What's up?
So I am currently here in Missouri. My fiance is in Panama, and we've been together for a little over or a little around 2 years. We've just been having to travel back and forth to see each other. We actually met here in college. She was a foreign exchange student. So she came here on a J1 visa, and she's subject to the 2-year rule. And so that expires December of this year.
Okay.
And so we are kind of trying to navigate around that in terms of when we get married, when we can start doing the adjustment of status. So the first question is, can we still fill out the I-130 even though she's still within the 2 years of her J1 rule?
Once you're married, yes, you can.
And if they were to try to process that even before her 2-year rule was up?
Yeah, the 2-year doesn't kick in until she actually has her visa interview, which you're probably 2 years away from right now. So there's no reason to wait for anything. They'll process everything. The question is, on the day she shows up at the interview, will she have satisfied her 2 years? And the answer to that is yes.
Okay, so the 2-year rule is based off of her interview day.
That's right. That's when she has to prove, that's the moment she has to prove that she's admissible, or conversely, that's the moment when they would test as to whether she's inadmissible because she hasn't completed the 2 years, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So when I know that one of the questions on there is if she is subject to the 2-year rule, I'm assuming we still say yes to that, since at the time we submit it, that will be the case.
Yep.
Okay. And then, so if she was to come here, because right now she went back to Panama, but she's planning on coming here soon. Obviously, when we file it, so we'll get married after the 90 days because she's on a B1, B2 visa, tourist visa.
Right. But so now you're talking about something different. You're not talking about her doing this all through the consulate. You're talking about doing it here.
Yes. We want to do adjustment of status.
Well, first of all, that's a violation of her B1, B2. She's not supposed to come here on a B1, B2 with the intent of filing for adjustment. That's a big no-no. You know that, right?
Yes, but I guess we thought that as long as she was here, as long as we got married after the 90 days, the first 90 days, then it wouldn't be an issue.
Well, but see, your problem there is the green card case is going to go a lot faster than the visa case, and then she won't have satisfied her 2 years outside the United States. Has she done her 2 years? As we sit here right now, has she done her 2 years?
No, her 2 years is in December.
So if you applied for adjustment, she would be inadmissible when you had your green card interview because she hasn't done her full 2 years. So I don't understand why you're thinking that.
Well, we probably weren't going to, as of right now, we weren't going to file the I-130 until probably December, which is when her 2-year rule is up.
So then she'd be out of status until then? No, wait, the 2 years, no. She has to do 2 years outside the United States. It's not It's not you have to wait 2 years to get the benefit. She has to actually, it's like a jail sentence. You have to do 2 years of time outside the United States, back home in her home country.
So she can't even be traveling back and forth.
Those are all bad days. Days she's not back home don't count towards her 2 years.
Okay.
You're not understanding what I'm saying, I think. You're not understanding how it works. She, in order to get a green card or in order to get an immigrant visa, the question will be when she's sitting across from an officer, have you spent 365 plus 365 days back in your home country since your J1 visa was over?
Okay.
And now if you ask me, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the answer to that would be no.
That's
because
right.
She's
why your plan isn't a good one.
okay. So then would we maybe be better off trying to get a waiver of that 2-year rule in general from
What country is it?
Panama?
How much what kind of a J1 did she have? Was she an au pair? Was she a nurse? Was she working in hospitality?
It was just a student visa, like just a foreign exchange student visa from the embassy, I believe.
For how long?
She was here for like 4 months, just a semester of college.
So that's absolutely ridiculous that she got a J1 to do that. Who paid for her studies when she was here in the United States?
It was some type of program. I can't remember what exactly the program was, but
Okay. So I would say in the scheme of things, this would be a relatively easy waiver to get, an easier waiver to get, not a guaranteed, but yeah, I would say generally this is an easier one, but I would start with that.
start with the waiver.
Yeah, because it's not like it's like sometimes people have a J1, Dominic, and they've been here for 4 years and they've, got to their PhD and they're a Rhodes Scholar or some foundation paid $80,000 a year for them to live here. You're talking 4 months for her to basically take some classes, right? She never should have been. She never should have been on a J1, and if she was, since she was, she never should have been on a. Shouldn't have had that 2-year rule. Whoever sold her that J1 sold her a bill of goods.
Okay. And so what should be the first step in going about trying to get that waiver,
Working on the process? You have to get a no objection letter from her country and go from there. Then you have to go to the State Department.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I really appreciate your help. You've given me a lot of guidance.
Bye, Dominic. I think we averted disaster there. That would have been a really bad plan for her to come and then try to do it here. Let's see what's going over on TikTok. Is it safe to travel for consular processing after the I-601A is approved? Generally, yes, but the embassies love to find extra reasons why you might be inadmissible and say that you need an actual 601 waiver. Can I file for adjustment of status even when we don't live together yet? That's a bad idea. We just talked about it on the show last week. I also have a video on this. So I would say I'd rather, if you can't, oh, there's my hat and mustache on TikTok. Oh, that makes me so happy. Thank you, Lee Ford 1Z. It's not a good idea to file for adjustment of status when you live apart. That's inviting fraud investigations. All right, let's go to A. Hello, A.
Hey, I just applied for my tourist visa, so I was laid off on H1B, and I am done with my 60 days grace period, and I applied for change of status to B2 visa. That application has been delivered, but I do not have the receipt number. So am I still legal here?
Barely. Not a good plan.
Okay. What should I do? Should I just leave?
I mean, are you going to find another job? I mean, the problem is your B1, B2 change of status is going to take 9 months. And in that time, you're not going to know what your situation is. You're not going to know if it's approved, and then they might deny it, and then you might not even find another job. So I don't know that right now this is the best plan.
Okay. I'm planning to leave the country in upcoming months, but not right away. But I'm also trying to apply for jobs. So
I understand. I think you should give thoughts to applying for jobs from overseas, because I don't know if your B1, B2 is going to be granted, especially with this administration. This is a tough ask under Biden, but obviously it's even tougher under Trump.
okay. Okay.
Thanks, See you, bud.
Thank you.
All right, John Doe is here. Hello.
Hi, Jim. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So I have I think, a simple question. I applied for adjustment of status, form 130 for 85, 131 and 765 altogether. Um, I think my lawyer's paralegal switched the checks for the 765 and the 131, so they actually got sent back. But then we corrected the checks and resent them again.
Okay.
So I did my biometrics for the 485 and 130 in February, and that went well. My stuff, I think, went right after the biometrics to cases being actively reviewed, and then they received my 765 and 131 in mid-February, and they scheduled me for another biometrics for some reason, but I went in and did that as well, and they got approved. Like, literally, I couldn't believe it, right after the biometrics appointment, and I got the combo card like the following week.
Great.
uh, the problem is what I want to ask about is for my 485. That question: have you ever been detained and or whatever? I had two traffic tickets back in 2013 and 2016. There were speeding tickets that I completely forgot about, and I was actually listening to your show, and so that you talked about the errata and stuff. So I emailed my lawyer and asked him, should I send an errata file for it? And he said, no, do it if you file for citizenship later. You can do that. So what are your thoughts about that? Should I
Well,
send an errata file or just
what version of
stick?
the 45 did the 45 that you asked? Did the 45 that you filed ask about citations?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, that
So
question with the city.
I would check to make sure if it asks about citations. Sometimes some of the older ones say excluding traffic. So drill down and see what your 45 says. And if it said citations, then I would do the errata sheet and upload it or send it to them where your 45 is pending and keep.
Okay. Okay, so you don't have to wait until it gets approved, or you apply for removal of condition or neutralization later. Okay.
I'd go with that. It's not a big deal either way.
Okay. Thank you. That's all. Thanks.
Good luck, John. See you, bud. All right. Kwame is here. Hello, Kwame.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I have two quick questions. One for me, one for a friend. We filed for my kids abroad for I-130 filed back last year in April, and still we've not heard anything. My wife was telling me yesterday that she's thinking, why don't we invite my kids for a holiday and go back? Is that a good idea?
Invite who for a holiday?
My kids from Africa to come spend a holiday, even though we have their file in process at USCIS. Is that a good? A good thing to do?
Do they already have visit visas?
No, they don't have.
So because I don't have my bell here, but because you've rung the bell by saying we want these kids to live in the United States, to reside in the United States, by filing an I-130 petition, then I believe it's very unlikely that they'll give them visit visas. So you could try, but I think the chances are very small.
Okay. Under this Trump administration, how long do you think is going to take before we hear from USCIS? Do you have any idea?
I-130s overseas are taking around 12 to 18 months.
12 to 18 months. Okay.
Is your spouse a green card holder or a citizen?
A citizen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 12 to 18 months.
Right. Okay. My second question is for a friend. He's from Turkey. He got married to an American and then got his green card last year. And then last year, and then he traveled to Turkey for holidays. And then upon his return, he heard that his wife has been arrested. So, and sent to jail, and then came back and then has been given a court date. So he came and asked, and then according to his wife, according to sources, he said his wife went to Walmart, bought some stuff and couldn't pay. So when he came out, they called the police on her. So when the police came, they realized that she's kind of a little bit like she's a little bit on drug. So they checked they searched her car and they found cocaine and meth in her car. So they processed her for court, and then she said, "Oh, it's for a friend." Now she's to go to court. My friend is kind of worried because he doesn't know whether it's going to affect his renewal of his 2-year conditional green card. What's your advice on that?
So when I was a baby lawyer, I found a case from Illinois, and do you know what that case said? It said that a drug addict is a presumed liar. A presumed liar.
Okay.
In other words, the government should assume that if you're talking about a drug addict, that they're lying. So I think your friend should be very, very, very concerned. I mean, for lots of different angles. Number one, I think it's guilt by association, that they think, well, maybe this guy from Turkey is also doing meth and cocaine, right?
Wow.
So that's part one. And then part two, drug addicts will do anything to get money to get their fix. So then you have to ask yourself, would they take money to file a bullshit green card case in order to? And so if your friend were sitting across from me, I would grill the crap out of him about, are you telling me you didn't know that your wife was on drugs?
Yeah.
You know, so like if these people, like, we just turned down a case, we had signed it up and we were working on it, and then the U.S. citizen spouse just said this little offhand comment about how she had a son that she didn't see. And so Amani got a little suspicious. She asked me to look into it. And the reason she didn't see her son is because she had her parental rights terminated because she's a drug addict. And we found 4 pages of cases involving that woman. So we said to the foreign national and to her, this case will never be approved with your criminal right. And she was yelling at us. She didn't want us to look. She said, I'm not talking about any of that stuff. Like, she was not happy with us for having gone and done the looking. But I think your Turkish friend needs to do the same thing.
Well, so he's thinking of divorcing her and then find a way of renewing her 2-year green card. Is that a good idea?
Well, it's better than going to bat with a drug addict, but he's going to have to prove that the marriage was real, and they're going to be very suspicious. Was he out of status at the time that he married her?
Yeah, he came with a J1, and I think he got out of status before getting married.
Yeah, so that means that he had every incentive to pay a criminal to marry him to get a green card because he was out of status. It solved this problem, you know?
Right. Okay, so I guess he's going to have to file a divorce and maybe renew the green card on his own.
Tough case.
Right.
Thanks, Kwame.
Okay, Jim. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, bye. What happens to a green card holder for under 2 years conditional and she's planning to divorce him? Well, that's what we were just talking about, Rob. She can still get her green card, but you got to prove it up. You got to prove up the marriage was real. You have to show that it was a real marriage, that the couple loved each other, that they didn't get married just to get an immigration benefit, but that things just didn't work out, right? So that's sort of the proof or the standard that you're going to have to meet. All right, let's go to Pluton. Hello, Pluton. You're on mute.
Hello, Jim.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm great, thank you.
Yes, I was just calling about something that's real quick. I come into the US in 2018. I mean, to be honest, I come like 3 times before I finally stay. All 3 times I had a B1 visa, B1, B2 visa. I used to play like soccer. So that's how I used to get my visa. It used to be like 3 months and then 1 month. That's what I think there was. And then I finally stay. And then I filed asylum within the 1 year. And I had a good case with the asylum, but it's just been taking a long time. And I ended up having my work permit, and I've been working on it ever since. And then I ended up applying for TPS because I wanted to go on a cruise, and I ended up applying for TPS. I qualified for it because I'm Haitian, and then I never traveled on it because I got scared of leaving the country on the TPS.
Smart.
And then like December 2nd, I got married to a US citizen. And I was wondering like what me having those two cases, would that be a problem for me when I'm filing my green card?
How did you enter?
Uh I entered with a B1 and B2 visa. I
Okay,
entered
cool.
for like the tournament. I actually went to the tournament. Every time I come to the US, I always went to the tournament and spent time with some family, and
Good.
then went back to Haiti. So I always
You-
went back. I always they allow us to spend time with our family over here after we done play.
Did you ever have an interview on your asylum case?
No,
Okay. And now you married a U.S. citizen,
yes.
and you're worried about what? That you
No,
have been here?
because I already contacted the office, and I was ready for my case, and I just wanted to call you like with my history of the asylum and the TPS. That won't be a problem for me since that's gonna be like the third, immigration benefit I'm gonna be
No,
applying
no,
for.
no. You're fine.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm ready, and I was like, let me just call on the show to make sure I'm good. Because I already told the lady I was gonna call when I was ready. When I got the phone, so I finally got everything ready. So I was just calling to make sure because I already got a TPS and the asylum case. They
No,
wouldn't be like too
nope,
much.
nope. Good case.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Pluton. See you, buddy. All right. This is the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration attorney visiting here in San Diego and heading to Washington, D.C. tomorrow. Hope you all are having a good day, a good week. Today is Tuesday, the 1st of April, and this is episode 801 of the show. Let's go to Anna. Hello, Anna.
Hi, Jim. So I just wanted to thank you for all you're doing. I just got to know you yesterday, and I think you're doing an amazing job.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna start by my main question is to get a little bit of information about how long and how complicated it is to get a marriage-based family petition from abroad. So I'm currently in United States. I entered with the F1 visa in 2023 for my PhD. And I met my husband. We got married at the end of 2024, thinking that our case is pretty easy and straightforward. So we go through an adjustment of status. So things changed. Just to tell you a little bit about my past, I'm an Iranian citizen. However, I immigrated in France when I was a teenager. So I'm a French resident currently. My goal was to settle down in the United States because I met my husband, my family, etc. However, as an international student, I'm not currently feeling super safe to continue with the plan that we had. So I think I want to keep my French residency active. For that, I need to go back to France in person before November 2025 to renew my residency card. So now the question is, if I travel abroad, if I go back to France, I probably won't be able to come back to United States because we did not start our adjustment of status process at all, and my F1 visa expired in 2024. However, my I-20 is valid until 2028. So we thought maybe we can start the process of green card process, marriage based from France. How long do you think that would last, and how complicated it would be?
So, do you watch the news?
Yes.
Do you know who's the president?
Yes, totally.
Do you know what he's going to do here in the next couple days?
I'm waiting for a travel ban. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
Do you know what country is going to be on the top of the list?
Obviously, my natal country.
So, this is a terrible idea. You'll be stuck outside the United States for at least 4 years, 3.5 years.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how fast your case takes. The embassy will be prohibited from giving. And this thing could come down tomorrow. Like it. I'm surprised it hasn't. Like they had the 20th of March as the deadline to give the report, but the travel ban could be coming any day now. So I think, to me, I would care a whole lot more about A, being with my spouse for the next 4 years, and B, getting my U.S. green card than I would about any French residency.
Yeah, totally. It's just like as a international student, I don't currently feel like I'm totally safe at any moment, even though I have a valid legal status. So I think you understand more or less what I mean.
Well, hold on. You could upgrade your legal status a ton by getting started on your green card.
Okay.
And you're not doing that. I don't know why you're not doing that.
So mainly it's because if I leave the country to renew that residency, and the process is going here is not a good thing, right? So basically, if I start the adjustment of status, I won't be able to travel.
That's right.
And the advanced parole situation, it probably won't happen in my case, I'm guessing.
No. If I were an Iranian, I mean, I don't know how long you've been watching the show, but I've been telling people since January 20th, if you're not a U.S. citizen, don't leave the United States. So you're many, many steps away from that.
Okay. So even if I have everything in order, I have a U.S. citizen, I cannot really apply for a green card abroad until the next 4 years.
No, you can apply, but you won't get a visa until Trump's out of office.
Okay, so my I-30 would be accepted, but I don't get a visa to enter United States again.
That's right. The embassy would actually be prohibited from giving you a visa, even if the rule goes into effect tomorrow, and there's somebody who has an Iranian passport and a visa, a marriage-based green card visa to come tomorrow, they wouldn't be able to get on the plane. That's what happened last time.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jim.
Good luck.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. I was sitting in my green card interview yesterday with a brilliant lady who came to the United States originally from Iran in 2015. And she's made quite a life for herself. She's gotten married. She's working for a big business, a big company that you all would know the name of. She is a genius. She was the smartest person in the room. She's a mathematics expert, and she works on AI and machine learning. And I was really sad after her interview. I think she's going to get approved for her green card, but I was really sad because the United States is going to miss out on years and years of really smart students from Iran and these other countries because we've got a bunch of racists running this country. It's really cutting off our nose to spite our face. It's really going to make America worse again, and it really made me sad yesterday. So I feel for Anna and all the Iranians. One thing I learned in that book I read by Alexei Navalny is you have to distinguish between the Russian people and the Russian government. And I think that's true with every country. Like, do you guys all want to be associated with Donald Trump, even if you voted against him? I mean, a lot of these people come from countries where you can't vote against the Donald Trump character, right? So this person just wants to live her life in the United States, do her work, her research, and be as smart as she is. So anyway, all right, let's go to Make. Hello, Make.
Hey, how you doing, Jim?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Jim, I thank you for everything you've been doing for the community.
My pleasure.
And for the 800 too that you got it last night.
How about that? That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. At nighttime, 15 minutes before the show, and it was 100 person online.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that show how people love you, how people appreciate your work. You could call us at 1 o'clock in the morning. We'd be up.
Thank you. What can I help you with?
A newly approved 212H for this administration, but if I go out coming back, they still gonna bother me, even though it was approved right now.
I mean, I think it's your only shot is to go, but I do think there's a good chance they give you trouble for sure.
Even though it's approved with this administration.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks for the call.
All
right. Let's see what's going over on TikTok. We lose when the intelligent ones go, says Tony. I agree. It's my first time here. How long does it take to approve an I-130? Probably around 14 months. It is possible to get reinstated if you've been out of status for almost a year. Depends on if you marry a U.S. citizen. Otherwise, most likely not. Went for my merits hearing last November, but till now have not heard from the judge. That's probably a good thing. I am an F1 visa. My OPT has been denied. Does my 60-day grace period start after the denial? I would check with your DSO, but most likely yes. Joe says, I just want to say thank you. Well, thank you, Joe. Can I apply for an I-45 under adjustment of status even though my I-130 is not improved under F2A? It depends if your visa number is current. Your priority date is current. You got to check that. All right. Thank you, Make, for that nice call. Let's go to longtime listener. Hello.
Hi, hello, good afternoon.
Sure.
Thank you so much for all you do, and
Yep.
it's been awesome. I've been listening to you for so long. I just didn't think the day would come I had to call.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Been listening so long since Shabazz days. Since I listen every day.
Nice.
And
Thank you.
personally have a withdrawal syndrome from I started listening in May of 22. And if you're not there, I literally feel like a little depressed, like a part of my day is missing. You would not believe.
Oh, thanks. That's great.
Like I'm literally blasting my Facebook. Oh, I miss Jim. Jim, this withdrawal syndrome. And sometimes people ask who you're talking about. Like this show I follow. He's gone away for 2 days, and I feel it.
I feel it too when I don't do a show. I feel the same way. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So a little background. I used to go and come from the Caribbean, to the US. And in 2013, when I came here, I was pregnant at the time. And then, unfortunately, when I came here, when I came here, I was told I was okay, had a good bill of health and no issues. And then when I came in 2013, it so happened I had to go to the doctor. I went to the clinic, we paid and so on. And then they said that they found some difficulties and I became high risk. And they said I couldn't travel periodically at all.
Yeah.
But I gave birth to my son and then we went back. But then I would bring him. Sometimes I have to bring him 2 or 3 times a year to see his oncologist because it's that bad. But in 2022, in February 2022, when I brought him, we came for visit, and then for him to see his oncologist. And then later on, I got married to a U.S. citizen, somebody I knew before from back home. We got married 42 days after we came in, but we did not file until May of 2022. The reason we got married early, well, I didn't even know about the 90-day rule and all of that. Right. And I only started listening after I filed. But then we got married early too because I'm a religious leader. So we got married within the 44 days. On the 44th date, I was here. Okay. And then we filed in the May, which you gave us after the 90 days. But I got my EAD in 2023. It expires next month. And what you call it? I applied for the new one. So they send out their receipt acknowledging the new one. But up to now, we've not gotten either the I-30 or the I-30, no approval on any of the documents except EAD, and we did not apply for the advanced parole because we weren't aware of it at that time.
Yeah. So what's the receipt date on the I-130 and the 45?
It's the 2nd of June, 2022.
And no interview, no nothing?
No, nothing. Nothing. Just the EAD.
Spouse is a U.S. citizen?
He is a naturalized U.S. citizen.
And is he from your home country?
Yes, he is.
Did he become a green card holder by marrying a U.S. citizen?
No. He got naturalized through his parents.
Okay, good. So basically you're telling me that we have a I-130 and 45 that's been pending almost 3 years with no interview.
Yes. We just had in fact, the 18th of March was our 3rd wedding anniversary.
And do you ever call them and bother them or
we call and bother all the time because the thing is, I was calling and bothering all the time prior to change of government because and this is why too. It was a back and forth because where my home country, I was a senior government officer, which means that okay, I'm highly qualified, and so because I'm so qualified for some positions, I can't get here because they're saying, oh, you need to at least be a green card. So I'm constantly bothering them or bothering my husband all the time with the fact that, well, okay, you know, I am disqualified, and every interview you go, you're overqualified. And then for the ones that would actually take you, they're saying, okay, you at least have to have a green card for this position.
Is the only visa type that you've ever gotten from the United States a B1, B2, or have you had any others?
No, only B1, B2, no other.
Okay.
No
Okay,
other.
so how can I help, or what's your question? I think you should sue them, but I'll let you ask your questions.
Right, that's exactly what I know. I've been hearing about the sue before, and like now I don't know, because even now that last month is when we get the extension with the EAD, and until then, even then I thought, well, okay, when they asked for the extension of the EAD, when we applied for it, they sent a biometric for me, and I had to go back, and all they did was take my picture. And then in January, they'd ask for my updated passport, and then nothing else. And then they keep calling and asking, well, what was going to become, or any update, and they have none. They just say it's out of date. They send you this generic email that says, oh, it's been out of date. They have a whole lot of work that's being done. And so really and truly, I'm kind of worried. And especially with all that's going on now, I am really worried because my son's health condition puts him at risk of being
sure,
you know, as much as he's born here, but I mean it is high risk all the time for him. If he's away, he's more, you know.
Sure. Well, I wish you would have sued them like in October, but I still think, I mean, we're still filing lawsuits all the time and they're still working. So I would say if we sue them, you'll probably have an interview in about a month or two, and then you have to deal with the interview and hopefully get the case approved. But we can get the case moving. You've been waiting too long.
Yeah, it's been too long. It's been too long now. It's been too long, and now the risk is thing. All right, so I'll just reach out to the office about
Awesome.
I will just reach out to you about soon. All right, thank you.
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
All right. This is the Immigration Answer Show. How long can I stay in my home country, Philippines, using EAD? I assume they mean advanced parole, and I would say not more than 6 months. Is it safe to travel? I'm a U.S. citizen with a criminal record and a pending DUI. Sure, they have to let you back in. Is it okay to file for adjustment of status when my 2-year green card will expire in December? For adjustment of status now. No, you have to wait till 90 days, and it's not adjustment, it's for removal of conditions. Hey, we got Turkey in the house. Hello. And our friend Ashman in Tunisia has given us the Eid Mubarak. Thank you, Ashman. All right. Nicole, hello.
Hi, Jim. Thank you so much for doing this program. You were touching so many lives, so thank you so much.
Sure.
I have a question. It might be simple, but I don't know how to go about it.
Okay.
Naturalized last year, and so I was trying to find my taxes for this year, and on H&R Block, it asks, like, were you a citizen in 2024? Now, my problem is I wasn't a citizen for all the months in 2024, so I don't want to answer the question incorrectly, or I don't know with the current administration, like, you know, like if we answer something wrong or whatever, it might come back to bite us later on. So I just wanted to know, does that question depend on, like, how did you start the year? Because I wasn't a citizen when I started the year, but I was by the time I was done with the year of last.
No immigration questions for us to worry about. I would ask the accountant who's helping you with your taxes more. I don't think it's not going to impact the way that what refund you get or whatever. So I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. I think, you know, with the state of everything, it's a little bit nerve-wracking.
I appreciate that, but I wouldn't worry about this.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
That's it?
Yeah, that was it.
Bye, Nicole. See ya. Good luck. All right, let's go to easy question maybe. Hello.
Hey, Jim. We talked a few months ago, but just to give you a background,
Sure.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
I came to US in 2011 on F1, then got a job and got H1B. My priority date is 2017. I got married last month. Some of the issues we have is we live apart. My wife has her residency to finish in a different state, and I have a job in a different state. And I will be able to work hybrid, but I won't be able to move in completely.
Until
So my question is, like, should we wait to build some more evidence? For example, in a couple of months, she's going to have a new lease. I'm going to be on that lease. We have the joint account. We're going to be using that now. Or should we be applying right away?
a lease, if you don't live there, is worse than not having a lease at all. Sending in a lease that your name is on that you don't live at is dumb.
Well, I will be living there for like 30% of my time, 30 to 40%.
So here's the deal.
Mhm.
In any situation in which someone is applying for a marriage-based green card and the couple lives apart,
Mhm.
these are the three things that you have to think about. Number one, are there legitimate reasons that each person has to be in the city that they are in?
Mhm.
Like work, right?
Yeah.
But like one time I had a guy, he said, "Oh, Jim, I have to live in a different city than my spouse." "Oh, yeah? Well, what's your job?" "I'm an Uber driver." So obviously Uber drivers can be anywhere. So that sounded like BS. So if it's a legit employment situation, short term, that's fine. That's number one. Number two, how often does the couple see each other and what efforts do they make to see each other as much as possible?
Right.
And then number three, what's the long-term plan? So let's start with that. What's the long-term plan?
So we have our life, everything in Washington. She has her family here. I have my job here. She just like the match process for residency, the doctors works is like they don't have a choice.
That's right.
So that's why she had to move, and it's like 3 years. She's finished 1 year, so she has to finish 2 more years, and then she'll be back here.
Okay. And I think at the beginning you said that besides this marriage-based case, you have another case that's either on file or underway or what?
That's right. The employment through my employer.
And so you're on an ongoing H-1B with the employment through the work?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, one good thing is that you don't have an incentive to get into a fake marriage because you already have a path for a green card. So that then cuts down on my concern a little bit about the fact that you live apart. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So then let's get to number two. How do you guys see each other?
We like, she has a conference next month. I'll be meeting her in LA. We have travel a lot. I go to her a lot, and that's why I have a team here that I need to manage. So I need to be present here for a job, but at the same time I can work in a hybrid way. So I can visit her like a couple of weeks at a time. So I do that.
So
often.
on average per month, how many days are you guys like staying in the same place?
So I would say in 2 months, 2-3 weeks.
2-3 weeks a month or 2-3 weeks total?
So on an average, 1 week a month.
1 week a month. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a lease in the other city you live in?
So I own a place here in Washington.
Yeah.
And she rents a place. I'm not in this current lease that she has, but I'm gonna be on the new lease that she's.
How far is she? How far away is she?
She's a 5 hours flight and like 10 hours total travel.
Okay. All right. So, and what's the date of your marriage?
21st February.
Of 25?
25, yes.
Okay, so this might be one of the rare circumstances where I would want you to file the 485 and the I-130 listing different addresses. Those cases are approvable. They're going to take a lot more work. You probably need some help. And most importantly, you need to document all the time that you actually spend together since the day you got married. You need to start keeping a chart. You need to be able to talk about it. Both of you need to be able to talk about it confidently and competently at whatever green card interview you have that might happen in either city.
I see. And do you think we should be filing right away, or should we be filing after some time?
You've been married 2 months. You're sort of stuck with this scenario for the next 2+ years. So I think I just go ahead and get it started.
Okay. The other question I have is regarding work permit.
Hold on. We have been hearing a little bit, and there is a trick that they have. So ordinarily, I would say, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. It's going to take 1.5 years anyway, so why not just go ahead and do it? But there is one little trick that they have when a couple's been newly married, and I've seen it definitely on cases where the couple lives apart. They think that if they can get you in for a quick interview, they can make you look like this is all just convenient and bullshit, right? As opposed to, I would wait probably 4 more months because you're sitting pretty with everything else you got going on. I might get 6 months of good documentation. I try to go there as much as I can for these next 6 months and document all. I mean, literally, you should keep a Google sheet of all your time in DC and all your time 5 hours away wherever she lives.
Okay. That sounds a good advice. The other question I have is I've been hearing that I should get a work permit just in case because people just like to file it together, and I'm like, I don't need a work permit. Sure, if I get laid off, maybe that's when I can think about it. Like work permit through this green card process. And I also think that I wonder if it could have a negative impact on my case. Like, why am I getting a work permit through my green card process, which I don't need? So, what would be your opinion on that?
Do you have a crystal ball?
I don't.
Do you have $260?
I do.
File for the EAD. No one's going to hold it. No one's even going to think about the fact that you filed for the EAD. You never know what's going to happen. You get every benefit that you can. Definitely file for the EAD.
Okay. And the third question I have is the travel permit through the green card process.
Yep.
And I'm thinking that your answer would be like, I should get that as well.
Maybe. I mean, if you have an H-1B, you can travel. I don't really like that. But yeah, I would say if you think you're going to travel, I would go ahead and get it.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Good luck, my friend.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya. I see some questions about people saying that sound a little fishy or in rush to file. I don't think so. I think it's just being thoughtful, and it's a tricky situation. So, we've had plenty of those cases get approved, and medical residency is really you don't have a choice where you're going. So I'm not worried about that case at all. All right. Well, here we go. A 51-year-old woman, US, and a 28-year-old from Ghana. What's your advice? Fiance or marriage? Well, just about everybody I'm telling marriage. The problem with fiance cases, and especially a case where there's a big age gap, is USCIS could approve the I-130. Approve the I-129F, the fiance petition, and let it go all the way to the embassy, and then say, yeah, we don't like this case. We're just going to let it expire, because they can renew it all they want, but they don't have to, and sometimes they don't. So I vote for spouse case. All right, let's go to Yousef. Hello, Yousef.
Hi, Jim. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, my son's name is Yousef.
Oh, thank you. Sounds good. All right. So I'm gonna try to make this short. So I got to the States in 2017 by K1 visa, and we got married. We applied all the documents, and in 2019 I received my green card. And in Thanksgiving 2019, I was a victim of domestic violence by her. She was arrested. I didn't press any charges on her out of love. And after she was released, we tried to work it out after the incident, but it didn't work out. And in April 2020, I decided to move out and we got separated. So by July 2021, I traveled to my home country and I got to meet someone else and we started dating in September 2021. And I asked my ex-wife to file for divorce and she didn't want to pay court fee. So I filed in November 2021. I got my divorce degree in July 2022. I went back home country and I got married to my current wife. In January 2023, I visited her again in July 2023. I know it's too many dates,
No,
but
you're fine.
uh, I visited her again in July 2023 and in July 2024 again. And after that, I got my citizenship in August.
Great.
And during the interview, they asked about my prior marriage and they explained everything with all the evidence and the court and the anger management that my ex-wife did and everything. So after I got my citizenship in August, I submitted I-130 for my current wife. I did submit it in September 2024 along with a key 3 form to Vermont Service Center. And so my question is, do you think my
Say it again.
sorry, I received a phone call. So my question is, do you think my case is approvable, knowing that I received my green card through marriage?
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Do you think that your ex-wife would have said anything bad to USCIS about you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. What embassy will your new spouse process through?
It's gonna be Morocco.
Is there any kind of age gap?
No, only like 2 years or 3 years.
Has your current spouse, ever been married before?
No.
Well, here's the thing. You came to the United States on a K-1 visa, which means that the embassy in Morocco has already interviewed you and they have a file on you from when you came through the U.S. citizen who sponsored you, right?
Yes, and they had the same file during my citizenship interview.
Well, yeah, but right now I'm just talking about the embassy in Morocco. The embassy in Morocco is a difficult place to deal with. So I would suspect that when your wife goes to her interview, you need to have her really, really, really well prepared to talk about everything regarding your immigration journey. She needs to know about your ex-wife. She needs to know about the abuse. She needs to know about the K-1. She needs to know everything about your case, because they'll use that against her if they can trick her into making admissions that she doesn't know everything about you, because then they'll say, oh, we don't really believe this relationship, right?
Yeah, that's true. Makes sense.
That's going to be the whole thing.
It makes sense. How about do you think if I go to Social Security to update my status to a citizen, do you think that's gonna speed up the process or it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Jim.
Bye,
Thank you.
Yus. See you, buddy. All right, you guys know we love Morocco and we love Jamaica. We love Iran. We love everybody on this show. Tony, I showed the ocean yesterday. I'm going to let you guys go on TikTok, and then I'm going to show everybody on YouTube the ocean. I hope you guys all have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow, I think. Maybe not. I have a lot of travel tomorrow, so we'll see. Let's see. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. All right. Let me unplug everything, and I can take you guys out on the balcony with me. It's a pretty view. I have some of my hoodies out drying in the wind. It's really windy today, but the sun came out, so that's nice. All right, so there's the view. There's the plane out there. I hope you all have a great day. I'm in San Diego, Matt. I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow, if not Thursday. And my travels end on Friday, so I'll be home for a while, and we'll get back on schedule with the show. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching.
I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.